Hello all and welcome to my SEC 465 final project and presentation. I am Richard. In this project I will be demonstrating some of the features and tools that are involved with deploying your very own web application. I will try to explain as much as I have done with the limited 10 minutes I am provided for this project. The primary goal of this video is to highlight, explore, and explain many of the great security and optimization features provided by Django.
First, I would just like to talk a little bit about my project and myself. My project started as a simple idea to bring together mushroom foraging communities in a helpful, secure, and unique way. I had no previous experience with Django prior to this project and had barely any real understanding of system databases. Originally a mathematics major, now a computer science major, I find databases to be very interesting, and even more intriguing is the math computers do to interpret, create, and advance those databases. Django, I found, not only is able to manipulate or handle those database requests well, but can also handle many other developmental queries. The primary languages used to develop a Django app are Jinja 2 and Python. The power of Django is certainly not limited to those two languages. Django applications like mine also incorporate style languages like CSS and JavaScript too. Jinja 2 is essentially HTML5, but it works on a thing called template inheritance. You can view it in my GitHub. I'll add a link either to the bottom or end of this video. Either way, by now you have probably realized that my foraging app is not entirely a mushroom foraging app anymore. As I continue to fall into the developer's well, I found myself wanting to add more and be able to build upon existing code and theoretical structures. I could see the emblazing transformation of my app as if it was bursting from beneath the ground, catching its first glimpse of sunlight and spending eternity growing ever closer to the sun. So the idea of confining what possible life my little app might have or had, I wanted to stray away from the common everyday method for data generation and try a method that leaves room for user input and personal creativity. The best way I can explain it is the app works more like a box within a box within a box, where each level of the database acts as a container, and those containers might become more specific as users dive deeper into their projects.
At this point in my demonstration, I have already created a new project categorized as project presentation and have created some buffer text within its description. I am creating a new entry using a Django form value. I will now address a web application vulnerability known as cross-site request forgery. Django does what it can to protect developers and users from such attacks with its built-in protections. CSRF protection works by checking post requests for a secret specific to each request and user. This ensures that malicious users cannot replay a form post to the website and have another logged in user unwittingly submit that form. For more information regarding CSRF view middleware, please check out the Django documentation after the video. You may have also recognized that a location button is included in the page that will allow any user with an internet connection to find their current latitude and longitude to the 7th degree. I was able to do this by including a short JavaScript into my source template, an important feature to my application if anybody was interested in returning to or sharing a previously successful foraging location. Another way Django protects its user from malicious attacks is in X-frame options. This middleware function option protects sites from clickjackers who might want to wrap your site into another frame, tricking unsuspected users into performing unintended actions on a malicious or target site. The only way this location button will work, or the JavaScript can be properly deployed, is across a secure socket layer transport protocol, which normally requires a site to be backed by an SSL certificate authority. Another great layered security feature of Django and most web browsers, I might add, are their abilities to redirect users to more secure transport layer protocols, as well as to request users use a more secure transport layer in their web browsing. The Django apps help to combat known security flaws such as packet sniffing by implementing secure redirects like most servers do. Packet sniffing is where attackers can actually capture your private information from other hot points across the internet or by spoofing Wi-Fi access points. Either way, a packet sent with or received utilizing a SSL header is far more secure than one not. At most HTTP packets, as most HTTP packets sniffed on the internet are easily viewed in plain text and are sent unencrypted, Django allows developers to define a secure SSL redirect for any HTTP request. Once an application is secured with SSL, it is also possible to configure SSL session cookies and CSRF cookies to be solely transmitted with those SSL transport protocols. Applications can also be configured to empty browser session cookies when connections are closed by users to prevent others with physical access to your device from accessing those account credentials had you forgotten to log out. So I just want to talk about the demonstration that I'm doing right now, or that I've been doing. Right now I'm in the admin console and I've already created a few entries, and at this point I just want to get rid of one of those entries. And since I didn't include any features on the application to delete or to update or edit, I would have to do this through the admin, which you have to actually create the super user prior to deploying. Otherwise, you're going to have some trouble getting access to that edit or delete function of the application. Now, the cool thing, or one of the powerful things about the Django framework, is that it does allow for that admin console to be pre-built, and it bypasses all of the HTML templates or the Jinja templates, and allows me to get straight to accessing my database inventories. Okay, at this point you see me create a few entries. I've just deleted one through the admin console. I just wanted to mention that while you're building your URLs into Django, it's pretty neat the way that Django will actually call can use your database keys or your database information to add slug strings into your URL bar to then generate or make those specific pages for each project, each entry, and so on and so forth. And those views that you create allow you to build upon your databases and your user interface as well, which is very helpful. And Django has a lot of great tools for doing that. One thing I didn't mention earlier, though, is that one of the reasons why I had to get rid of the delete and the create buttons on the pages is because I implemented the login mixers, which is supposed to prevent anybody who doesn't have an account to at least not be able to create or delete or edit entries. But there's also a mix in that it's supposed to prevent users from that didn't create a project or didn't create an entry from deleting or editing those entries. So at this point I have gone ahead and I have attached a GitHub link to my repositories for this project on my entries. As you can see, the hyperlink is highlighted. I'm going through my project directory, essentially showing you guys a couple of the files in there, my proc file and my requirements.txt, and a few of the other directories. But it's very important that you have to include that proc file if you wanted to deploy to Heroku, and that requirements.txt is used for a quick install in my virtual environment. I also wanted to include some references as well as an example of an SQL injection in my presentation for your viewing. Thank you.